The most interesting management. The management in Maruti is now with us. Shashank Srivastava, Senior Executive Officer, Marketing and Sales at Maruti is with us. So, as you're with us, there is a lot of debate about rural versus urban and really how things are moving in. You have a substantial presence in the rural market. Can you talk to us about the outlook for rural sales in the following calendar year?
Our outlook for rural sales in the next year also is positive. In fact, even in this year, we have seen the rural growth slightly higher than the urban growth. In our case, rural growth is about 25% against the urban growth of around 21%. So the overall retail is having moved up by around 23.5%. So seeing that we have had a very normal monsoon, except in a few states, and also the Rabi sowing is going on apparently in a very strong manner. MSPs are high, and government investments in rural infrastructure also high. So we would expect the rural growth to continue in the next year as well. By the way, of our overall portfolio, 43.5% of our sales now come from rural areas against last year of around 43%. So there is a uptick there as well in our overall portfolio.
So rural is growing at a better pace than the urban, and that's how the revenue contribution is also inched up. Shashank, the other thing that I wanted to bring out was that in your meeting yesterday, you pointed out in terms of how taxation has become quite a bit of burden for the entire industry. Mr. Bhargava was also pointing out how it's becoming a limiting factor and a challenging thing for the entire sector as a whole. What is your wish list in terms of, let's say, the taxation being loosened a tad bit when it comes to the auto sector?
Yeah, so I think the government knows best how to manage the economy in the sense that they have fiscal targets to meet. Obviously, they would need taxation and revenues from various aspects, including customs, indirect taxation, direct taxation, and so on. So, which sectors have to be taxed more? And how to get more people into the tax net, both small companies as well as individuals, is obviously something which government is working on. So I will not be able to comment on what should be the taxation for automobiles, except to say that yes, the relative, if the auto industry can see a much higher growth if the taxation was lower, and I think that's something which is which is a very obvious thing to say. So any sector where taxation is lower, probably the possibilities of higher growth exist. And that is what I think the chairman said, Mr. Bhargav pointed out yesterday evening, that in India, if somehow we could bring the taxation down for the industry would see much higher growth, and therefore the motorization of the country can be achieved much faster. But obviously, he also pointed out that it's the government which has an overall view of the economy, a much better view of the economy, and they would have their own fiscal targets. And therefore, to say that this should be the rate of taxation in the industry for automobile may not be possible.
So also, let's just talk about the previous calendar year. It's been a year where when we started, we thought things will open up, but towards the second half, demand across the space really did pick up. But then you had major volatile issues coming in, from availability of chips to prices of raw material being up, down, and still it's very difficult to find out, how essentially you would plan. So what are you looking for 23? Are you looking for a stable regime of margins, or, your raw material? Are you looking for a stable regime of currency, because you also get impacted by yen quite a bit? What is your internal estimates about the next year in terms of chips, in terms of raw material prices, in terms of the volatility that you've seen in the previous year?
Yeah, so you're right. There was a lot of volatility in this year, 2022, both on the commodities front and also on the supply chain front. Fortunately for us, even in the foreign exchange front, but fortunately for us, a large part of our imports are yen denominated. and yen actually has weakened against the rupee. In that sense, it's actually a positive. Also, our exports are in dollars, and there the strengthening of the dollar against the rupee also in that sense have benefited Maruti Suzuki. On the commodity side, yes, the first 3 quarters, the commodity prices were unusually high. They have softened a little bit in the recent past, in the last few months. But of course, the effect of that comes with a lag. And while I will not be able to predict the movement of either the currency or the commodities going forward, but I do believe that and then the last quarter's result showed that the softening of the commodity prices has actually helped our overall profitability.
Right. So today morning you had some update coming in from the Bank of Japan, and after that yen has become pretty strengthened. Do you expect that just the point that you made about yen imports could hurt in the near term?
Yeah, so it all depends on the extent of that strengthening or the weakening. As I said, stronger rupee against the yen is better for us as far as the yen imports are concerned. And it works the other way, of course. So we'll have to see the extent of strengthening of the yen against the rupee.
Okay, Shashank, on that note, we let you go. Appreciate you joining us on the show today, and all the best for 2023 and season's greetings from the entire Etina family if we don't speak before 2023.
Thank you very much.